Welcome everyone to the Goblins live show featuring myself and the wife, and today we've got an awesome show lined up for you today where we are going to take the mick out of Kawasaki and their branding. You ready, wifey?
Yes.
Let's roll the intro. Oh, we here? How are we doing, wifey?
Yes, good, thank you.
Have you been up to anything interesting this week? Yeah, I'm doing all right, thanks.
Good. What? I thought I'd ask to be polite.
Well, you're feeling better, aren't you, from
after
last week? So
yeah,
you're doing all right
way.
now.
Yeah. We did some work for a different type of video coming out to tomorrow, which is start off something I'd like to hope for the series, and so hopefully you enjoy that, because do not miss that. That is a cracker of a video. And it was fun to do, wasn't it? Really. Hopefully you'll get that from when you watch it.
It was. It was a fun video to shoot, and I just hope that you guys enjoy it as much as we do. It's going to be a good video tomorrow. I'm excited for you all to see it. So yeah, tomorrow's video is going to be a good one. So make sure you're there at 12 o'clock to watch that one. Evening, Mark. How you doing, mate? Good to see you.
Hiya.
So. Right, so, I mean, we haven't been up to that much other than just channel stuff, really,
just
have we?
Goblin
We've
stuff.
been focusing quite a lot on the channel recently, doing a lot of... we started doing shorts as well, so, shorts. I intend to have shorts coming out every Wednesday, one a week, if I can keep that up, we'll see.
I have something sort of related, but not really related.
What's
I'd love
that?
to share with you and everyone today. So I love reading. And I need to start a new book, so I started reading The Hobbit. I've loved The Hobbit for years. Read the graphic novel as a kid. Thought I'd read the book. At the very front, Tolkien talks about like the names for things and what we'd recognise them as.
Yeah.
And he was like, orcs. Not a word we use in English. We use the word goblins. So technically, we're orcs as well. Just thought I'd share that. That was literally it. Sorry.
Well, he got a lot of his words, though, from, I believe, the Norman invasion of England.
I don't know, but
I believe. Like, there are lots of words that he uses in that are phrases or words that they would have used back then to describe people, I think.
The way that he's got the prologue is almost as if, because they talk a bit about how like Elven is written and how there's certain letters don't exist in Elvish and how just certain things. It's almost like he's explaining to the reader that you won't understand these words, but this is what they mean, because they're not, this book has almost been translated from dwarfish or whatever, hobbit-ish, I guess.
Hobbitish.
Hobbitish. Yeah. I just thought it was cool just to share.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Gentleman Rider, hello mate, how you doing? 125 guy, how you doing? Greg, good to see you, mate. Good to see you all there in the chat as usual. That's fantastic. Right, so before we get into the main crux of the video today, as you can see, we've got a little thingy set up here, so where you'll actually be able to see a if I can move the camera the right way, a little whiteboard. And we're going to do a little bit of Pictionary. Is that what it's called? Pictionary?
Yeah, I think so.
Pictionary.
Yeah.
So we've got some cards here, which we'll pick at random, and we have to try and draw what it says on one of these cards.
These are proper Blue Peter quality cards as well.
And we'll give ourselves like a time limit. I'll have my phone or something of like a minute or something like that to try and guess. Or what do you think? A minute to guess or a minute to draw and then guess? Or well, I suppose we're guessing as we draw, aren't we? So yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all goes. But we thought it'd be a bit of fun. Yeah. Just
loosen those bones.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, wifey, you've got more than me. So, shall I pick one first for you to do?
Yeah.
If you fan them out for me. So I'll just grab.
Are you going to do this, or am I?
No, you're gonna do it. Yeah.
Don't look at it then.
Oh, I'm not looking at it. There you go. Right. So see if you can draw that
Okay.
one, and I'll get a timer going on my phone.
Okay.
How long do you think? A minute or a minute and a half?
Do you want to put the camera on?
Let's have a look.
I can't draw.
No, I can't either, so this is going to be really funny. Right. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go. It's good that she's left-handed. Okay, that's looking a little bit... oh, no, that's okay.
What do you think it was?
Sock? Boot. Christmas boot. No, winter snow boot.
No, think of what we do here.
A motorcycle boot.
Yeah!
No, you're not supposed to give me any clues.
Oh, sorry. It's a warm-up. How's that?
Okay, so that one was fairly easy. I've done some really hard ones.
Thanks.
For me.
Look how good that is, though. Hey, that's a quality drawing.
It does look like a boot, but it looks like a snow boot to me. Or
I'm sorry. I'll try and be more specific next time.
It did look a little bit more dubious towards the beginning with the general shape of it.
I wasn't going to put a peni on there.
Peni. Right. Okay. So I've mixed these up already, wifey. So pick one.
I'd mix mine up too.
Pick one. Okay. Right, here we go. Oh, this is a good one. Right. Do you want to time yourself?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, right. This is going to be very, very rudimentary. Okay. So it's just going to be a stick person.
Is it
with-
Donatello?
Oh, you are very close.
Is it a Ninja Turtle?
No, but it's in there.
Is it a ninja?
It's a ninja.
I thought it was a Ninja Turtle because of that bit.
That's what I mean. Everyone looks at that and thinks that's a Ninja Turtle. That's what I was going for.
1,
Well
2, 5
done.
guys, also
Okay,
left-handed.
Maybe
Powers
that
for
wasn't
left-handed.
so difficult then. I thought that one was going to be quite hard. Okay. Well, good. We're 1 for 1 so far.
Yeah.
God, that's a record so far. 17 seconds.
17
Fair play.
seconds.
Right. What's your next one? Oh yeah, by the way, guys, make sure to drop your answers in the chat for what you think it is that we're drawing here. And if I see it in the chat that one of you got the answer right, then I'll give the point to you. Right, let's have a look. I want that one.
Oh dear.
Right. Oh dear, she says. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Go.
Oh, actually, I got the wrong colour pen.
Okay. Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Seriously.
Yeah.
You've got some really naff ones, you know. At least mine are semi-motorcycle related.
Some of them are, but some of them aren't. I want to throw you in like a loop for you.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a difficult one to come
Yeah.
along in a minute. Right, okay, it's your turn. Here we go. Pick one of these.
Mark is on form
Oh, yeah.
with these.
Oh, well, but Mark's got Christmas tree and ninja so far.
Clearly, we are.
Okay,
amazing.
right. This one might be hard, right? And
Right.
it's not going to be the thing that I'm drawing.
What?
Okay, you'll understand what I mean. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, right. Ready?
3, 2. Oh, you've knocked this off.
Sorry, clock. There we go.
3, 2, 1. Begin.
Right, so gonna have to use some basic. What's this? Trigonometry. Is that right? Is that what it's called?
I have no idea. Hello, Dope Style Gaming. Good to see you. Is it a battery?
It's not a battery.
Is it an engine?
No, it's not an engine.
Is it a seat?
It's not a seat, but it does have
Is it a washing machine?
It it does look like a washing machine, doesn't it? But it does have a little seat right here. Look, there we go.
Is it a sidecar?
No, and then I don't know how to draw these.
A radio?
No,
Speaker?
no.
That's a music thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
Oh
Oh God, that's bad.
yeah, I don't know how to draw
it's got a
musical
little
notes.
seat. Drum kit.
No.
Piano. It's a piano.
Right, but it's not a piano.
It's a baby piano.
No.
Keyboard.
Yes, but I said it's not the thing I'm drawing. Who makes these?
Yamaha.
Yamaha! You got there a bit too late, though. It was 1 minute. Yeah, Dope Style Gaming got it. Hey, Yamaha, well done. Fair play, mate. Awesome. See, he got it before you did. That's awesome. That's awesome. Fair play. Well done.
All right, then. Fine. That's how we're going to play it.
Give me a hard one.
See, even that 125 guy said piano.
Yeah.
Could have been a box that got water damage on it.
Right, okay. Let's have a hard one here. Let's have a hard one. Do you have a hard one in here?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because if you do, then you can pick it next time if we get this one wrong.
What are you looking at?
Sorry, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start the clock.
Right. If anyone gets this, I'm going to be really impressed.
All right, are you ready?
Yes. 3,
3, 2, 1, go. Circle, face, smiley face. Glasses, 4 eyes. Oh my god. I don't know, Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty's an egg.
Yeah, but he looks like an egg. Look. I don't know, Boris Johnson. He doesn't wear glasses, does he?
No.
I don't know. Oh my god, who the hell's that? God, they've got a fat face. I don't know. Piers Morgan. I don't know who that is. The guy from Clarkson's Farm, Caleb.
No.
God, I got no idea. I don't know. Teacher Deirdre Barlow. I don't know. I don't think the chat knows who this is either. What's with the hair? Postman Pat. That's a good one. Mrs. Brown. That's a great one. Mrs. Brown. That's Mrs. Brown. Well, the time's up for me, unfortunately. So, all right, wifey, you're gonna have to spill the beans. What was that?
It was you.
Oh, sod off! There's no way.
You kept saying that face is so fat. It made me laugh.
So you're telling me that I look like a teacher, Deirdre Barlow, Postman Pat, Mrs. Brown, Piers Morgan, Caleb from Clarkson, Boris Johnson.
Oh my god.
So I guessed all those people. That's supposed to be me.
That was so worth it.
My face isn't that fat, is it?
I couldn't stop
I
rubbing.
mean, it's oval shaped for one.
I didn't have time. And your nose isn't that big either.
And I don't have round glasses either. Oh my god, that is so stupid. Hilarious. I'll give you that.
Hey,
Hilarious.
I'm trying here.
Well done. I'll give you that
You
one.
went a hard one.
I did, yeah.
What's a hard one for you?
Okay, right. I got 3 more here.
Hold on, I'm rubbing you out. Sorry.
I just got it then.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
my
it's not
God.
what I meant.
Right, here you go.
Right, moving on. That's hilarious.
Ooh, okay. This one's going to be hard.
Is it?
I don't think you're going to get this
Okay.
one.
Guys, I'm relying on you again.
Yeah, okay. Right, so
Is it Postman Pat?
get a pen ready. It's not Postman Pat. No, this is a difficult one. Okay, right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Right.
It's like a bird.
Yeah.
Like a flamingo.
I don't know what this bird looks like, by the way. So.
It's like a kiwi.
No.
Flamingo.
No.
Is it motorcycle related?
It is.
Okay.
Keep guessing. Keep guessing.
I'm trying to think what things
guessing.
would be.
Keep-
Blackbird.
Yes! Fair play. How'd you get that?
Because I was just sitting there thinking what birds are motorcycle related, and blackbird popped into my head. And
That's very, very interesting that you said that, because the first thing that I would have thought you would have said would have been Hayabusa. But the reason why I started painting it black was because, yeah, it's a blackbird. Well
Mark
done.
said pigeon. So
Well
that's not
done.
a bad guess.
Fair play, wifey.
Looks like roadkill, but yeah.
A dead blackbird.
Yeah.
One that's been eaten by a Hayabusa, no doubt.
That's it. Plus, the thing came into the back of my head about what my dad told me about Hayabusa and blackbirds and stuff anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's right. That's awesome. Okay, right. How many more should we do of these? Should you do one more each?
Yeah.
One more each.
Right, I'm going to pick my next one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go for it. Yamaha pigeon. If I saw that animal, I'd run so quickly.
Right. This one, I'm going to try and do my best with.
Okay.
It's not motorcycle.
Do you want a bit longer to draw it? Do you think?
No. It's okay.
No? Do you think it'll be all right? Okay.
Yeah, this is not motorcycle related.
All right. You ready? 3. It's not motorcycle related.
No.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Could you open the black pen for me, please?
There you go.
Yeah, don't give me the biro.
The biro won't work. Red Nose Day. Clown.
No, I don't want to hold that still.
I
I just drew it myself.
Mars.
Mars? No.
Mars. A zit.
Have you ever seen something like that on a zit?
I don't know. A cherry.
Keep going.
Cherry. Oh my god. Why is there a face on there? The annoying orange.
No. You're so close with cherry.
Cherry. Blackstone Cherry.
Yeah.
Okay. So Blackstone Cherry is a band that the wife and I like. You like them more than I do, I'd say, but
Yeah, I've done their photography. That's what I'd say so.
yeah, so well done.
Plus, I drew on
Well
my
done.
hand. It's like the black spot from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mark said Mars. 125 guy said Solar System. Mark said Scarecrow. Awesome. Scarecrow. Where'd you get Scarecrow from?
Because they've got faces and they've got like big round faces, haven't they?
Big red faces. I thought they were made of straw.
They can, no, inside straw.
Ah, okay. I see. All right.
Do you want to pick your last one?
I'm going to pick the last one.
Mm.
That's not those. I've already done those ones. Okay. This is going to be difficult. Okay, right. I'll do this. I'll do this one, and I'll tell you why I'm doing it. It wouldn't have been the one that I would have done, but okay. Right. Okay, so I'll give you a hint. It's a video game.
Is it Doom?
I haven't started drawing
Can you
yet.
imagine if I got it right?
I haven't started drawing yet. Okay. Right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Doom.
No.
Fallout.
No.
Outer Worlds.
No. See if I can somehow draw something that is familiar.
Battlefield.
Not quite. You're close.
Halo.
No, not quite.
Gods of War.
No, not quite.
Pew Pew. Star Wars.
No.
Pew Pew.
No. I don't know what's actually on this thing, to be honest with you. That's all I got.
You're red.
No,
Is that what that says?
that's supposed to say US president. 125 guys close. Call of Duty. He's close. Not quite.
It's not Call of Duty.
There's something very specific in this drawing. Very specific. So you've got all of the Dope Style Gamers got it. Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor. Fair play. Well done.
Never would have got that.
That's it. Medal of Honor. You've heard of the game before, though.
Yeah, but I've never.
Yeah.
Pew Pew. That's blooming.
Yeah, so Pew Pew is like...
That's Stormtroopers.
That's the noises the guns make. I mean, Medal of Honor is a game that doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. There was they did like a reboot of Medal
Was
of
that
Honor.
an Xbox game?
No, it's on all platforms. It was on all the consoles and it was on PC as well, I think. Not sure about PC, but yeah, they rebooted it once and they did it in Afghanistan. It was actually a really good game, but it didn't pick up, unfortunately. And then afterwards they did Medal of Honor Warfighter, and that was bad. I didn't like it personally.
So I think we have concluded one thing. Oh, look, it's taken me forever.
Yeah.
We can't draw.
Well done, Dope Style Gaming, for getting that right. Well done. Good stuff.
Let us know which you think was the funniest, because I think I know which one that was. But yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Awesome. Right, so I'm just going to move this camera out of the way so we can actually talk to you guys properly. Alright, but yeah, well done, wifey. Well done. Good game.
Well done, you.
Good game, well done. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
That was really fun.
Airborne was my favourite back in the day. Yeah, I didn't actually play Airborne, unfortunately. I didn't have that one. But yeah, I did hear a lot of people talk about Airborne.
I thought you were talking about the band then.
Yeah, the band, yeah. No. Medal of Honor Airborne.
That you may have picked were GoPro?
No, don't tell me, because we can use these for another time.
Oh, we can't use that one now. I did have a really, really good one. I really was hoping you were going to pick though.
So that 125 guy. Anyone else think we need to name Goblin and wife? You can try.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
I'm sure there are lots of names that you could call us.
Tell us what you think we're called, because I'd love to hear that. What names suit us?
Well, I'm Piers Morgan.
Yes.
So
you're a Piers.
Mrs. Brown.
You're Mrs. Brown and Piers Morgan's love child.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, right, let's get on to the topic of today's video, the main topic of today's show. Right, so Kawasaki, their branding, their marketing is very strange to me. So the way how we're going to start this bit off is I'm going to show the wife, and obviously I'll show you guys as well, a number of different bikes from Kawasaki, and I want you to try and figure out what kind of bike they are. If
they're a tourer or a sports bike. Right?
Basically, yeah. Okay? Right, so I'll give you the first one. That is a Kawasaki Vulcan 800. What is that?
It's a motorbike.
It is? What kind of motorcycle is it?
It is... I don't think it's a tourer.
It's not a tourer. It's an obvious one.
Is it?
Think of like another famous motorcycle company that does these kinds of bikes.
He's not looking at the chat because they're
Concentrate.
It's really funny.
Concentrate. We'll go through those in a bit.
Okay. I don't know. It's not a sports bike, is it?
No, it's not a sport bike. No.
Cruiser.
There
we go.
Good. So you got that one.
Eventually.
Right? What is this one? This is a Ninja 650.
It's a sports bike. Sports bike.
Incorrect.
Oh, is it a sport tourer? No.
Correct.
It is.
Sport
tourer.
tourer.
No, doesn't look like one.
So right. This is where the crux of the conversation is going to happen here. Okay.
Man.
So there are a few people that would consider this to be a sport bike. I would not, and the reason is because this is based off one of my old bikes, the ER6, which is not a sport bike at all. But let's move on to the next one.
What's that?
This is a Ninja 400.
So the last one, what did I say the last one was? Sports tourer.
Sport tourer.
So there's a sport bike.
No.
There's a sport tourer too.
Correct. Sport tourer.
Goodness me.
Again, like the look of it, you get very confused by it, don't you? But it's not just the look. It's not just the look. Right. Next one. This is a Zx10r.
Sports tourer.
No.
Sports bike.
Sport bike. Yeah.
If I say it enough, I'm going to get it eventually.
This is a Versys 650.
That's a sports tourer, isn't it?
Yes, correct. So sports tourer / adventure-ish.
I've seen one of those up close.
More sport tourer, yeah, for sure.
They were at the Kawasaki event, weren't they? It was my dad was looking at, and you try and talk them into.
Right, and then the last one.
That is a ZZR 19000. Yes, that's a sports.
Careful what you say here.
That.
Some people would fight me over this.
You've done a video about this. I should know what this is.
Yes.
So everyone wants to say it's a sports tourer, don't they? But it's not.
I would argue it's not.
You think it's a sport bike?
I think it's a sport bike.
See, I do listen.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Just because of the seating position, the performance, the sound, the handling, all that does not scream sport tourer. Sport tourer is supposed to be more comfortable. These are comfortable bikes, but they're not like touring comfortable. You know, you're leaning forward quite a lot more than the Ninja 650. You're leaning a lot more forward on the ZZR than you are on this bike.
I guess that's why handlebar risers would be
Now,
there if you want to.
well, exactly. And these handlebars here on the Ninja 650, you actually find are taller.
Mm.
They're taller handlebars. So, but the interesting thing is that the Versys 650 and the Ninja 650 are both the same platform. I believe the exact same engine, the exact same chassis. They might have slightly different tuning, but they're basically exactly the same bike, except one of them is more upright than the other. So that's why this one is more tourer/sport tourer, and then of course you've got the Ninja 650, which is more of a sport tourer. But then some people would argue that this is a tourer. But the main issue here isn't what the bike's called necessarily, or what the bike does, but it's the way how Kawasaki brand them. So this bike in the United States is called a ZX14,
Yeah.
ZX14, exactly the same as the ZX10, right? So that's a sport bike.
Right.
Yeah, ZX10 sport bike. So why would they call the ZX14 not a sport bike? They do. In the United States, they do. They call it a sport bike.
But over here we don't.
Over here, it's got a different brand. It's a ZZR 1400.
Why?
I don't know.
Right.
That's my first point. Why do they call it different names in different
be,
regions of the world? It doesn't make any
universal,
sense. I mean, there are some people that argue that a motorcycle like that can cater to different audiences throughout the world. So, you know, like in the United States, if there's more of a market for sport bikes, they will market this like a sport bike. Whereas in Europe, they might not be so much of a market for sport bikes. So instead, they brand it more of a sport tourer.
Do you think the name, the ZX10R, sounds more sports toury, and that's why they've gone down that route? Sounds more sport bike, doesn't it?
No, the ZX14 is a sport bike brand. The ZZR14 is in a bit of a no man's land.
It's just confusing me.
So, yeah, well...
I'm just getting myself muddled.
That's my point. So, yeah, I mean, Mark says Hypersport Tourer. So, again, there are loads of different ways you can call a bike like this, but I threw that one in there as a bit of a monkey wrench, just to kind of throw you off. But as well, you've got the issue of the Ninja branding. So back in the day, when they first brought out this whole idea of Ninja, it was all sport bikes. So all of the sport bikes were Ninja ZX something. So Ninja ZX 25, Ninja ZX 600, Ninja ZX 10. Yeah. So they were all sport bikes. So they're all like this one, or like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very easy to differentiate between what was a sport bike and what wasn't.
You're not sharing that?
No, I know.
Okay.
But now, they have Ninja branded on just about everything. Everything. Literally everything. Whether it's a sport bike or it's not a sport bike or whatever, they have Ninja branded on almost everything. And it is just because they know they'll sell more bikes like that. But the issue with this branding is that people have become accustomed to the Ninja branding being sport bike. But not all of them are, or at least some are more than others. So from a branding standpoint, in my opinion, it's very confusing for a consumer, a potential buyer, to understand exactly what it is they're buying.
What's my bike then?
What do you think it is?
Not very good.
No, it is very good. What do you think it is?
Well, you're saying that I'm being led to believe it's a sport bike because it's got the Ninja branding, but it's not, is it? What is it then?
Not particularly. The R125 from Yamaha is more of a sport bike than the Ninja 125 is.
Yeah.
I call it a sport tourer.
Sport tourer.
Mm-hmm.
Even the naked version of my bike would be a sports tourer.
Right. Nakeds have this funny kind of thing because they basically have the exact same everything as like a Ninja 125 or a Ninja 400, for example, but they just have fairing taken off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not strictly true with all of them. Like the ZH2, for example, is a naked version of the Ninja H2, but even though it has all a very similar engine, very similar chassis and everything like that, its seating position and what have you is completely different to the Ninja H2. So it's very easy to tell the difference between a naked and its sport bike variant, for example. Nakeds are very, very easy to tell apart, usually. I suppose you've got the R7 and the MT-07 from Yamaha, which also can be a little bit confusing because they both have the same engine, but the R7 is kind of like branded as like it's branded like the next step up from an R6, which is the 600 sport bike, which everyone knows and everyone loves. R6 is fantastic bikes, and R7 is not quite as good as an R6. Even though it's branded to be better, it has a different engine composition. It's a good engine, it's a good bike, but it's not an R6, which is how they're kind of trying to brand it. So you could get a little bit confused by that as well. You think R3, 300, R6, 600, R7, 700, R1, 1 litre. So you think that natural progression, you think, oh yeah, so that bike is faster than that one, and that one's faster than that one, and so on and so forth. But that's actually not true. It's actually not the case. But the thing that I find with Kawi in particular is they have, okay, so they've got like the Vulcan, they've got the Versus, they've got what other, I think that's it, isn't it now? I think they've got like a scooter range now, I think, as well. I can't remember. But so they have got some different classes that don't have the Ninja branding. Well, my ZZR doesn't have a Ninja brand on it.
No, it doesn't.
The one in the US does. That one does have a Ninja branding. So it kind of confuses people. This is like, I mean, I'm just trying to think to myself when I was buying my first big bike, and I was 19 years old, and I was buying what I thought was a sport bike, and it wasn't. It looked like one, sounded like one,
but it isn't one.
But it isn't. It was a sport tourer, and I didn't know that literally until I actually bought a sport bike, like years and years later, an actual sport bike.
But the way it's been presented to you is a sports bike.
Exactly.
But your Honda wasn't it?
Yeah, Honda. Yeah, the CBR. Again, Honda, very, very easy to differentiate a sport bike from not a sport bike. They have a double R on the end.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's like when
CBR 600 double R,
yeah.
CBR Fireblade 1000 double R.
It's a bit like
triple R.
The Honda Type R. You know, that's like the sport version.
Kind of, yeah. Basically, yeah. I suppose you can draw the same conclusion there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from Honda's standpoint, I find it a bit easier to understand, even though Honda I've kind of slipped a little bit as well, because you've got the CBR 650R, you had the old CBR, right, this one was actually quite difficult because you had the CBR 600 F4i, which was like
F or I?
F4.
Oh, F4.
F4i, and you had that kind of generation of motorcycles from Honda, which were, I can't remember if they had the same engine or a slightly different engine from the sport bike variant, the double R. It had less horsepower, I think. But again, I think that was more of a touring-oriented bike rather than a sport tourer rather than a sport bike. But bikes like that, you can kind of get a little bit confused by. But for me, Kawasaki are the biggest culprit. They really do brand their bikes in a way that, fine, it might help with sales, but it doesn't necessarily help consumers make the choice that they think they're making. You know, they're not buying the thing they think they are.
And then they get the thing they thought they were buying originally. They suddenly realise the thing they had originally wasn't the thing they thought they had.
I think this is only an issue for first-time buyers. Once you actually get involved in the ecosystem of a particular brand, it's not as difficult, I don't think, because you at that point you start to understand what it is that
makes these bikes what they are.
Exactly, yeah. But it took me a very long time to figure out what one bike was next to another one. A long time. And like you look at the Zx10r.
Yeah.
And then you look at the Ninja 400, you look at the Ninja 650, and you think they all look very, very similar. I mean, there's some obvious differences, like the underslung exhaust, what have you. There's a few differences here and there, but they all look very, very similar. The only real way a noob is going to be able to tell the difference between them is literally with the name and the number. That's it.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're a first-time buyer, and if you're like one of those people that kind of wants to just get involved in riding a motorcycle casually, then it's really important that you make an educated decision. If you're like one of these people that's really into it, then you're going to know all this stuff.
Yeah,
but that's not really the point.
But it doesn't help you make an informed choice if they all look the same, and they all and they're all marketed one way, but they're actually different.
Yeah, like
Harleys are cruisers. That's straight off the bat. That's what you're getting.
Yeah, not all of them, but yeah.
But typically.
Yeah.
But this, it's just. It's just you think it's one thing because it looks like a sport bike, but it's not, is it? It's a sport tourer.
But it could be.
But it could be.
That's the thing, you don't know. You know, if like this is my entire point, is that you don't necessarily know what you're looking at.
No.
Unless someone tells you what this is and what this isn't, then you're going to have a very difficult time trying to figure out exactly what it is you're buying. You know, you might look at it, you might think, that's a nice looking bike. Oh, that sounds good. But you ride it and you think, yeah, you don't think anything's off until you jump on your next bike and then you realise,
this is different.
This is entirely different. Entirely different. So it's a difficult topic, because I'm sure they've got Kawasaki and all these other brands. I'm sure they've got, you know, people earning loads and loads of money, you know, high up in the corporation, that are coming up with these brands and these, you know, iconic names and things. And I mean, Kawasaki as a company, they were doing really, really well in the 80s and what have you. But then when they used the Ninja branding, that's when they really took off. That's when Kawasaki became a household name, was because of their Ninja brand. I mean, were you a kid and you knew what a Kawasaki Ninja was, didn't you? You didn't know exactly what it was, but you knew that. You knew what it was. Yeah. Every kid in the late 90s, early 2000s all knew what a Ninja was. All of them.
It's probably the only bike I was aware of, if I'm honest. Yeah,
exactly. And some people knew about the Busa, bikes like that as well, because of their reputation. But it was genius marketing at the time. But now, of course, they're taking that one step too far, where they're using Ninja on everything.
Everything.
Well, it feels like everything anyway, and you don't actually know what it is you're buying. I have a concern with that. Or, well, many concerns with that. You know? It's like, you wouldn't like disguise, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example.
Hot dog as vegan.
Or an apple as a pear.
Yeah.
You know? I understand it's to sell more. I get that.
But do you feel like you're being falsely advertised to?
In some way.
That is a concern then, isn't it?
In some way, yeah. I mean, it's not a concern for me anymore, because I know what the brands are, and because I do research on the bikes and things like that, I never used to, you know, but since getting more involved in the community and what have you, and starting this channel, I've done a lot of research in these kinds of bikes, and I can kind of see where the differences are between them, even though they might be quite subtle, or they might be extreme, but the way how they're dressed makes it look subtle, you know. Honestly, you jump on a Ninja 400, or your bike, right? You jump on your Ninja 125, and then you jump on the ZZR. Now, bearing in mind, you've never ridden the ZZR, so you don't actually know what it's like to ride. But in terms of the seating position, because you've sat on it before, obviously, when you're helping me with, you know, getting the bike up onto the stand and stuff like that to wash it or what have you, you sit on it for me, so you can help me get it up. But
sorry,
come on, no,
sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry.
Bloody hell!
Right, anyway,
you're
I help
so
you get
dirty.
It up, and then what?
You put me off now. Right.
I sit on the bike so that you can get it on the stand, and I know what it's like, because you have to lean forward more than I do on my bike.
But is that obvious to you? Like the very first time that you say you got off the Ninja 125 and then you jumped on the ZZR to
only reflecting on
it
it now.
onto the stand.
But then I'm a noob in the way that these bikes are. But reflecting on it now, and from what you've told me previously, then yes, thinking about it, I do lean forward more.
Yeah.
But no, otherwise I wouldn't recognise it probably. If I was riding it for a longer period of time, and I probably will then realise. But
yeah. See, at Dope Style Gaming, Ninja 400 is a tourer, ? It's a sport tourer. Yeah. It's a sport tourer. So the way how you can tell a lot of the time what's a sport tourer, what's a sport bike or what have you, is literally the lean angle that you've got kind of going over the tank. So, I mean, I'll bring up the Ninja 400 again because I've got it on the screen. So this Ninja 400, you can see how it's quite a neutral seating position. The foot pegs are actually quite low down as well.
Yeah.
Right? When you compare that to
I can't really see that.
This one, the Zx10r here, you can see how much higher the foot pegs are, and you can see how much further forward the rider is kind of leaning. I mean, this is an extreme example here because they're actually properly lying on the tank.
It's like a track day or something.
Yeah. So they're properly into it, and you can you can tuck into a Ninja 400 as well. Obviously, you can tuck into a Sport Tourer, but the weight that you have on your arms is entirely different between the two bikes. Entirely different. You will feel so much more pressure on your wrists and on your shoulders than you will do on this bike than you will do on a Ninja 650 or a Ninja 400.
You felt that in your ZR, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hence you got the risers.
Straight away. I actually tried some handlebar risers on the ZR when within a few months of owning it, just because I didn't want to feel so much pressure on my wrist. But after I tried the handlebar risers, and actually I preferred the more lean forward position. But
at least you tried it to know.
Yeah, I mean, remember, guys, there are loads of riders that buy a motorcycle they really like. So, I mean, let's use the ZR again as an example. So there are channels out there that I've seen, that I've watched, where people buy a ZR because they think it's a really good bike and the performance is what they want and all that stuff. But the seating position isn't quite what they wanted. So they will have they'll have different foot pegs or adjustable foot pegs, ones that are lower. They'll have handlebar risers. They'll have, taller windscreens and things like that. These are the kinds of mods that some ZR owners will make to make their bike more of a tourer than a sport bike. And it's confusing.
Do you feel if you'd actually test rode the ZR, do you think you would have realised the pressure on your wrist in that short space of time?
Yes.
You would have?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, it's literally as soon as you sit on it. As soon as you sit on it and you start rolling it off the forecourt, straight away you feel that pressure. And unless you've ridden sport bikes a lot, ridden sport bikes before and you know what to expect, then you're not going to have any problems. But for me, going from a Ninja 650, which, by the way, a Ninja 650, Ninja 400, Z400, Z650, not so much the Versus 650, but they all have very similar seating positions, all of them. Okay, and then you go from that to, say, a CBR 600RR or an R1. You notice straight away the amount of pressure that your wrists are under, and your back as well. Some riders have kind of, they feel pressure on their backs as well. But you are certainly leaning forward naturally. It's not one of those. Sport bikes aren't bikes where you can kind of move your seating position to a point where you can make it more touring or less touring. That's not really how it works.
It just is or isn't.
It puts you in that position. It forces you into that seating position. You can extend your arms to to sit a little bit more upright if you wanted to, or you can bend your arms or what have you to tuck in a little bit. But that's it. That's about as much movement as you've got on a bike like that. Dope Style Gaming, what makes the Ninja 125 more of a tourer than the YZF R125? Now, I don't know if this has changed in recent years, but when I was doing my my full motorcycle license, there was a chap there that had an R125. This would have been an old one, so I don't know, 2007, something like that, maybe 2008 model, I don't know. I can't remember what year it was. But when you saw them riding it, you could see the forward leaning position that they had. And to be fair, most 125s are kind of the same. They kind of sit the same. Most of them do. Like if you have Honda do have like a little 125 kind of sport bike, don't they? I can't remember what it is. CBR 125R, something like that. That sits very, very similar to a Gixxer 125. That sits very, very similar to a Ninja 125. But for some reason, when you looked at an R125, they seem to have higher foot pegs. I think foot pegs have a lot to do with the seating position of the bike. The higher the foot pegs are, and the lower the handlebars are, the more you're having to lean forward just naturally.
Yeah.
And for me, that is the way how it looked when I saw one of the guys riding his R125. That's kind of just how it looked to me. That's just my impression. I've not ridden an R125, but just looking at the ergonomics, the natural ergonomics of that bike, it does seem, if you want a 125cc bike that is about as sport bike as you can get for that class of motorcycle, then an R125 is probably what you could look at. But yeah, it all just adds to the confusion. The whole reason why we're having this debate is because, like, what are you buying? I mean, there are going to be certain people. I mean, I think an R6 as well is more leaning forward than a CBR 600RR as well, which seems ridiculous to me, but apparently they are. I mean, again, I've not ridden one, but just looking at the ergonomics in comparison between the two, it's fairly obvious to see where the pressure is on your body as you're riding. But I mean that's the whole point. Is, you know, we want people to buy motorcycles that they want. You know, like if you had a ZX10R on your poster, on your wall as a poster in your bedroom as a kid, and you grew up riding motorcycles and that's the bike you wanted, right? Well, or you wanted a bike like that. How are you going to know what it is that you're buying unless someone tells you? If you just look at bikes, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, again, that's probably just like a marketing choice as well. How you have Ninja 400, Ninja 650, bikes like that, where they're designed and branded like the sport bikes, like the race bikes, because that's what people want. They want them to look like race bikes, but they don't necessarily want them to ride like a race bike. And that's a big difference there. So a motorcycle that is designed for the street is entirely different to a race bike. And that's what these sport bikes are. They are race bikes, track bikes with headlights, with indicators, basically, is what they are.
Road legal track bikes.
I think that's the easiest way to describe a motorcycle to someone. If it's a sport bike, when you sit on it, does it feel like a race bike? If it feels like a race bike when you're sitting on it or when you're riding it, it's probably a sport bike. If it doesn't feel like that, like in your head, the way you imagine it, if you imagine, I don't know, you're riding world superbikes and you imagine what that looks like, or what that would feel like, you can kind of make that comparison between that and a sport bike, I think. But then if you are not feeling that way when you're sitting on a motorcycle, when you're riding a motorcycle, then you know it probably isn't, even though it might look like one, or it might be branded like one. But I would like to see a personal recommendation for Kawasaki, even though they're probably never ever going to watch this video. The Ninja branding should just be kept to the sport bikes, if I'm being totally honest. And also as well, like, commit to a naming scheme as well. So like ZZR 1400, if you're going to commit to that, then commit to that. Make sure that everyone knows that it's a ZZR 1400. If you want to commit to it being a Ninja ZX14, then commit to it as being a Ninja ZX14. Yeah. Because UK viewers, American viewers, have completely different opinions on what that bike is. Completely different opinions. It's really funny, actually. When we did that video a few weeks ago about what the hell a ZZR 1400 is it a sport bike, is it a sport tourer? All of the European viewers all said sport tourer. All of them. Sport tourer, hyper tourer, whatever. American viewers all called it a sport bike. All of them. And again, it's all just marketing. They're the exact same motorcycle. It's just marketing. I just wish that they kind of stuck to their guns and said, this is what this bike is. I mean, there was some people that were putting comments on that video as well, saying how in the brochures, the sales brochures, they would call them sport tourers. In South Africa, they call it a sport tourer. It's like, it's so confusing. Because again, you don't know what you're buying. You know, if you want a sport tourer and you know that it's a sport tourer, then great, your quid's in. But if you're looking for a sport tourer and actually you buy a ZZR 1400 and you think, oh my god, this is not a touring bike whatsoever, then you're having trouble. Yeah. If you've ridden sport bikes before and you get on a ZZR 1400 because you want something a little bit more comfortable, then again, you're doing really well. Because it's a more comfy bike than, say, an R1 or something like that. Fantastic, great. But if you're a person who is going from, say a Versys 650, like we had on here, really neutral bike, really boring bike, and then you get on the ZZR, it doesn't feel the same at all. No. But if that's how you're led to believe that that's what you're buying, then you might be in a bit of trouble. Especially if you did something stupid like me and just looked at the bike and said, shut up and take my money. They walked out with it a week later without even test riding it. Then yeah, that's going to be a big shocker. But I was happy with mine anyway. So I was shocked how different it was. But at the same time, it was all right for me. You know, it wasn't the end of the world for me.
I always remember that phone call out of my dad. Oh, you've just brought... almost said your name then. You've just brought a new bike. And he went, oh, has he ridden? I said, no. He went, oh, that's an interesting way to go around it. I said, yeah.
Yeah. Golden rule, guys. Golden rule. If you're ever going to buy a motorcycle, always test ride the bloody thing.
We were lucky. We were fortunate. That's not always going to be the case. I mean, we didn't test ride my bike, but it was a 125. I mean, what could have gone wrong?
Well, again, I mean, because you looked at a Gixxer 125, you looked at the Ninja 125. They both would have been very, very similar bikes, and you would have liked both of them, either of them. So it wouldn't really have mattered, in my opinion.
I do wonder, and I'm going to put this out there, and this is like really controversial. Just before we go through the comments, whether I should have gone for the other one sometimes, just something a bit different.
No. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, remember, you went into the dealership specifically looking at the Gixxer 125.
Yeah, I did. You're right.
But then I spotted a Ninja 125, and you looked at them, and you were like, actually, I prefer that one. I had no influence in the decision, by the way. I literally said to my wife throughout the whole process of buying her 125, I said, look, you're going to be happy with either of these bikes. Both these bikes, the Gixxer 125, Ninja 125, are going to be fantastic bikes. You're going to like both of them.
I sat on both. I think I just preferred the way the 125 felt.
But honestly, both of them would have been fantastic. For a CBT rider, both of them would have been great. So, I mean, it just so happens again. But you fell in love with the branding again. It had Ninja branded on it, and you've always said you always wanted a Ninja, and look, you got a Ninja. So again, the branding, the marketing, really worked, and it's that branding has worked for generations.
Powerful.
Generations of people, even the kids today. They look at motorcycle and they think, that's a Kawasaki Ninja. I want that. When I grow up, I want a Ninja.
And it's the green with it as well. It's very distinctive, and it all works in their favour.
That marketing has worked really, really well for Kawi, but it's gone overboard for me.
Yeah,
it's gone a little bit too far.
They've pushed their luck too much with you, haven't they?
But it's just people don't know what they're buying necessarily. You have as mean as it sounds, you have to treat customers like dummies. Yeah, so you have to be very, very specific about what it is that they're looking to buy. As a salesperson, you're not just responsible for getting the sale, you also have a responsibility to make sure the customer is actually getting the thing that they originally wanted. Yeah.
What does your H2 fit into?
In what sense?
Type of bike.
Naked.
So
hyper naked, yeah.
Sports tourer doesn't focus for that.
I mean, if you were to put fairing on it, like sport bike fairing, then yeah, it would be a sport tourer. Yeah. But it isn't. I mean, the Ninja H2 SX, again, another Ninja branded name, which is a sport tourer through and through. That one's the touring version of the H2. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just for later. Nothing you need to worry about. If I don't write it down, I'm going to forget.
Okay.
Sorry. There we go.
Fair enough.
Working whilst we're...
Right, so yeah, let's those are just my opinions, guys. Yeah, and I mean, I want you in the chat to, have it out with me. Say, why you think I'm wrong and what have you. Chuck it in there. I'm always happy to be proven wrong. Right, so let's have a look here. Mark, it's the same with cars. In my day, an SRI was the dog's bollocks, but nowadays, all SRIs are GTIs.
All GTIs, yeah. Everything's got a badge. Everything's a sports car.
Again, it's all marketing. Again, like Volkswagen or let's take Honda Type R, right? The Type R brand is like a famous brand now. It's a household name.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're going to buy a proper car, if you want a sports car,
you go down to your bar, don't you?
You look at the brands that you heard when you were a kid, or that some mate said to you down the pub, But yeah, again, it's marketing. GTI, RS. For Ford or ST for Ford, RS for Audi, I mean all these brands.
So yeah, it's the R, isn't it?
Yeah, all these car brands as well. They've got their kind of like sport variant, but again, in order to sell more cars, they will put ST, like Ford will put ST on a car that actually isn't an ST.
It'll be Robin reliant with an ST on the end, won't it? And they'll all sell because the marketing is there.
Right, that's exactly. Again, it's misleading customers. And Ford, I've only done that recently, I think, with the ST, because I mean, luckily I haven't done with the RS. I don't think they haven't done that with the Focus RS. Luckily, but yeah, it's just again, not yet. Yeah, it's just marketing. Dopestar Gaming, would you say that it is an issue for the individual buying the bike to know the class as long as they believe it's what they're getting, like an R7 having the same engine as the MT-07 but looking sporty? Yeah, again, like if you are a customer that actually does research and you actually know the environment that you're in and you're an enthusiast and what have you, then you won't have any problems determining the difference between one bike or another. But you will get some people that will look at an R7 and they'll think, that's better than an R6, that's faster than an R6, when it isn't. And again, it's just one of those things where customers, honestly, right, take my field, for example, working in finding the issue for them. But we're getting a little notification here. What's going on?
It disconnected and reconnected.
Okay.
So
it looks like it's come back now. So it might have had a network hitch there, guys. But yeah, as someone who is trying to provide a service, you have to, kind of take what customers say with a pinch of salt, really. But yeah, let's have a look here. That 125 guy, CBR 125R. Yeah, thank you very much. Dope Style Gaming, because you then get bikes like the Ducati Multistrada V4 with an insanely powerful engine in that touring bike chassis, is then comparable to a bike in the 899 Panigale, a fully fared bike. Interesting that you say that, because also you've got the what's it called, Tuono, which was supposedly the first ever kind of hyper naked motorcycle that was released. Aprilia, by the way, but it was basically just it was an RSV4, wasn't it? Just basically an RSV4, just without the fairing. So again, I suppose it depends on the brand and how they decide to design motorcycles. I mean, again, that's another variable as well, is how bikes are designed. Like if a particular brand has got an idea for what they want a motorcycle to look like and the kind of audience that motorcycle's for, that's going to be different per company. I mean, that's interesting. And you find that with European brands more so, I think, than Japanese brands. Japanese brands, they have kind of like industry standards, I suppose you could call it, between the different classes of motorcycles. I mean, that's kind of changing recently, but for the most part, like one bike is comparable to another from another brand. Like you look at a Gixxer 600, you look at a CBR 600RR, they're both very comparable bikes. But I suppose you don't get that in Europe at all. Actually, you don't have that standard kind of engine class or what have you, standard design classes. Yeah, don't know. Interesting. But yeah, Ducati, I think they like to go out there a little bit more than most brands when it comes to who they're building who they're marketing a motorcycle for. And remember, they're very expensive bikes, so their kind of customer base is going to be a lot smaller than most other brands, I suppose. Adam Zana, good to see you, mate. Hope I pronounced that right. Sorry if I haven't. MT10 or Z900 is good for new rider? ? Yeah, I would say no. They're both pretty up there as some of the most insane bikes you can get. So MT10, 140 horsepower, 4 cylinders. It's derived from the same engine as the R1 as well. Is it tuned for more torque? Maybe, I don't know the MT10, but the MT10 is renowned as like a mad naked. So no, I certainly would not class an MT10 as a beginner bike. And a Z900, I would certainly not class that one either, even though it's a little bit less insane. Z900 is pretty up there. If you want to look at a naked as your first bike, depending on where you live, if you live in the United States, maybe look at an MT03, maybe an MT07. But again, that's pushing it as well. If you've never ridden a motorcycle before, you get on something like an MT07, that's going to be absolutely crazy as well. I mean, if you're a seasoned rider and you've been on Fireblades and what have you, it's not going to be so bad. But for a new rider, it's very easy to get carried away with even middleweight motorcycles, regardless of what kind of bike it is. So you could look at an MT03, you could look at a Z400 or a Z400 from Kawi. I mean, do Suzuki do a GSXS version of kind of like a middleweight bike? I'm not sure on that one. Obviously they've got the GSX S600, but again, that's a bit up there as well. I think that's a specialist bike, but specialist bike. It's more of an expert level bike, I'd say. That's a tough one, but I mean, look at, again, I'm giving you numbers here like 500cc or what have you. It probably don't mean all that much, because a 500cc bike here is different to a 500cc bike there. But Honda CBR 500R is why you could look at one of those. They're fairly decent for beginners, I would say. Could look at an Ninja 650 even. Again, same kind of class as the MT-07 Ninja 650 or the Z650. But those are the kinds of bikes that I would look at for a beginner, I think. And yeah, guys, drop your thoughts in the chat as well about your recommendations for a new rider as well. And remember, this is going to be different from Europe to the United States and to India and China. So, you know, what certain cultures deem a beginner bike is different to what other cultures do. You know, like we over here deem a 300 or a 125 as a beginner bike. In the United States, that's not really the case. 300 to 650 is more beginner bike level for them. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Right, let's see here. Dope Style Gaming, they're absolutely horrid for new riders. Then again, I am a new rider, so don't take it from me. Yeah, I'd agree. Adam Zanna, I am 43 years old and I have a Z650. Okay, well that changes things. So if you've been riding a Z650 for like a year, 2 years, maybe closer to 3 years, then yeah, you'll be okay on something a little bit bigger. I'd say, but sorry, mate. It kind of made it sound like as if you were a total beginner.
It says I can have Z650.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It sounded like you had a Z650. Excuse me. Yeah. I would say 650 is where I'd look at, between 400 to 650, maybe 300, 650. But yeah, let's have a look here. Paul Venice. I would give her an Italian baby. Lol. Nice. It's always funny when you have random comments like that in the chat.
I have no idea what that even references. Like, where, what? I don't know what that even means.
Mark, always better to step your engine sizes progressively rather than gung-ho into an R1. Yeah. I mean, that's what I always try to promote here is, yeah, being sensible. Again, you just see it so many times where you get people that are just driving cars that, you know, they're 17 years old and they buy themselves, because they can buy themselves a ridiculously fast car, and it doesn't end well. And the same goes for motorcycles as well. So yeah, just be responsible and try and be as sensible as you can, I'd say, when it comes to buying motorcycles in particular. Dope Style Gaming, but if you're smart enough to realize that you're a new rider, then perhaps it would be more sensible to limit the power of the bike you would end up getting. That's interesting. Again, I mean, if you're looking at an A2 license, then you can get something that's bigger than the A2 class, but it has to be restricted. There are some people that do that, but of course you've got the added cost of doing that. You have to take it down to a garage and they've got to fiddle around with it. And it's just, I mean, you can go that path if you want to, but I mean, if we're being totally honest with ourselves, we don't want to stay with the same motorcycle for years and years and years. So, you know, ideally, if you stick with a motorcycle for 2 to 3 years, then at that point, it's a good idea to move on, not necessarily to something bigger, but something different. Because it just, at least from my experience, doing that has really kind of changed my perspective on riding, and it's really helped my enthusiasm of riding. So I personally like to swap bikes around as much as I can, as and when I can. So if you buy a motorcycle that's bigger and you restrict it, well, you might be expected to keep it a little bit longer than, than maybe you'd have thought that you would. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think about doing when you get a full license? I mean, obviously you don't have to do A2. You can go straight to a full license. But I mean, what is it you're going to do?
You know what bike I want to go onto?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
we have a difference of opinion about what I'm gonna do next.
Yeah.
I want the MT-03. I feel like that is a good step for me. Where you want me to go to the MT-06, don't you?
MT-07. Yeah.
MT-07.
But again, though, but by that point, you would have been riding for 3 years, maybe even a bit longer than that, on a 125. So I don't think it's unreasonable going from a 125 up to an MT-07.
I think it all comes down to the confidence that person has and how much they believe in their abilities and how much power they feel they can safely control.
But you don't know that, though. That's the thing. You don't know how much power you control until you actually get there and you try it out. Well, that's definitely what we'll do. We'll get you on different bikes and we'll see what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, but
I mean, actually test ride them.
In my head, I was gonna go from a 125 to a 300, wasn't I? The MT03.
But what my point is, you don't have to.
No.
A lot of younger people, they have to go that route in the UK. You don't have to, so you have a lot more freedom with what kind of bike you can get next. That's all I'm saying.
To be fair, though, the reason I liked the MT03 was when we were looking at your H2. I saw it and I was just like, I like the look of that. And again, I'm going on looks. I'm going on the way, the colouring of the bike and everything. I might hate it when I get on it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know.
That's right.
I don't even know, is that a sports bike? Is that
what?
The MT03?
No, it's naked.
It's a naked bike. So, see, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
The MT liner bikes are naked.
Right.
Adam Zanna, I know, but I love the new MT10. Yeah, that's the hardest part is trying to figure out or trying to, you know, when you look at a motorcycle and you think I really want one of those, is, you know, again, trying to be as sensible as you can about the bike that you actually buy. Again, there are riders that they will spend years and years and years working up towards a particular bike, so, you know, it's up to you. You know, at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you get yourself a full license and you want to get yourself an MT10, no one can stop you from doing it. But it's our recommendation that you work up to it, even if it's just one motorcycle. If you get yourself a mid-range bike, ride that for a couple of years, 2 to 3 years, then you can get yourself on MT10 and you'll be much safer on the road. For one, you'll be protecting yourself, you'll be protecting other people around you. And, you know, you just have that little bit of experience behind you. And I mean, it if you've been driving a car for a long time as well, I think that certainly helps, that experience. But it's different. On a motorcycle, it's entirely different. So again, I mean, take that as you will. But it's I personally wouldn't go for an MT10 as your first bike after 125 or what have you. I wouldn't do that. Have a bike in between. That's what I would recommend. Mark, there can be huge power differences in what you think small engine increase and what you think small engine increases. Handling a lot harder and will not allow any simple mistakes. That's entirely true. You look at a number, the size of an engine, it doesn't mean anything. You know, you look at an MT07. Let's stay on MT on the MT line of things. So MT07 was that 689 cc, right? Going from that to an MT10, you know what? 320 cc difference. That's it. 319 cc difference. I'm not very good at maths, but between a basically 700 and a 1 litre, there's only 300 cc difference. Doesn't sound like a lot, but the amount of extra horsepower, the amount of extra torque that's generated from just that small increase is ridiculous, and that's not even what that engine's fully capable of. When you have a look at that same engine in R1, it just blows your mind. If you go from an MT07 to an R1, not an MT10, an R1, which is basically the same bike, but it's like the race bike variant, worlds apart, absolutely worlds apart, absolutely insane. And Ninja Zx10r as well. It's a 636cc. Yeah, so most 600s are 599cc. Yeah, but the Ninja ZX10r is a 636cc, and just from those extra 36 cubic centimeters, they're able to increase the amount of power output. Was it by 10%, 15%, something ridiculous like that, from just that teeny tiny increase. And I think someone said in one of the live shows actually recently that Kawasaki actually made a 600 variant sport bike that was a 599cc, and they were still able to, you know, push out some massive numbers from a little engine like that. So yeah, engine sizes don't necessarily matter as much as a lot of normal people think they do. So if you look at something that's a 1 litre and you see a massive discrepancy between two bikes that are both supposedly 1 litres. Well, now you know why. But yeah, entirely different bikes. Let's have a look here. Dopestar Gaming, that's a whole live stream topic right there. Goblins Live, episode 24. Where'd you go after a 125?
It's been written for us.
That's a very difficult one, and you're absolutely right. That's a whole new topic right there. But yeah, I mean, we'll leave the show here. Thank you ever so much for watching, and thank you for your input in the chat. I hope you liked our kind of our whiteboard and our drawings, our bad drawings. Hopefully you had a little bit of enjoyment from that, watching us fail and suffer. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think.
Do you have any? Sorry, darling. Do you have any concluding thoughts or anything you'd like to say?
Just Piers Morgan. I'll be back next week.
Yeah. Well, actually, what names did you give us? Actually, what names did you give us?
They were pretty good, actually.
So yeah, 125 guy earlier said that we should give Goblin and the wife a name.
Yeah.
Mark says Quack and Quacker.
That's quite accurate, really.
125 guy Craig and Nikki. Okay, pretty cool.
Are you Nikki and I'm Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We won't let you know how close you are. We might come out of the closet at some point, mightn't we?
I don't know.
But,
we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, thank you for your input there, guys and gals. Yeah, hope you enjoyed today's show. Remember, new release tomorrow. Very, very different kind of video to what we've done before.
Do not miss it, because
don't miss it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, if you don't laugh, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so if I don't see you then, I'll catch you all next week. So have a good weekend. And yeah, from the wife and I, that's everything we've got for you today. Take care.
Ride safe.
Everyone, ride safe.
Fruit shoes are disgusting.